On Friday, January 16, 2026, the world seemed to pause for a moment in the heart of the Swiss Alps. The first light of dawn crept over the snow-capped peaks, painting the sky in soft hues of pink and gold. The air was crisp and still, carrying only the faint sound of distant birds and the gentle whisper of wind through the pines. 7 cross-country skiers, friends and seasoned adventurers gathered at the trailhead near Piz Badus. Their laughter echoed in the cold morning air as they checked their gear, tightened their boots, and exchanged stories of past journeys. Each skier was eager to explore the pristine slopes, drawn by the promise of untouched powder and the camaraderie of the group. The morning was perfect: crisp air, blue skies, and a fresh blanket of snow covering the mountain as far as the eye could see. The landscape sparkled in the early sunlight, every tree and ridge outlined in shimmering white. It was the kind of day that seemed made for adventure, where every breath felt invigorating and every step forward was filled with anticipation. Spirits soared as the group, experienced and well-prepared, began their ascent. Their colorful jackets and gear stood out brilliantly against the endless white, a moving splash of color in a world of snow. They moved in rhythm, each stride a testament to their skill and the trust they placed in one another. The mountain felt welcoming, its vastness inviting them higher. As they climbed, the world below faded away, replaced by a breathtaking panorama of jagged peaks and silent, snow-filled valleys. The only sounds were the crunch of skis on fresh powder and the occasional call of a distant bird. Up here, it was easy to forget the worries of everyday life, to feel as though nothing could disturb the peace of this alpine paradise. The allure of fresh powder and the thrill of the backcountry drew them ever higher. Each step was a celebration of freedom, each glide a reminder of why they returned to these mountains year after year. The untouched snow beneath their skis promised adventure, and the vast, open landscape seemed to belong to them alone. The risks of the high mountains felt distant, almost forgotten, overshadowed by the beauty and excitement of the day. The group paused on a ridge, taking in the sweeping views and sharing smiles, their hearts full of gratitude for the moment. It was a morning that felt charmed, as if nothing could go wrong. But beneath the serene surface, the mountain hid its dangers. Subtle cracks in the snowpack and the faint tension in the air hinted at instability, warnings that only the most attentive might notice. The beauty of the landscape masked the risks that lay just beneath their feet. In a single, unpredictable moment, the promise of a perfect day would be shattered. The tranquil landscape, so peaceful and inviting, was quietly preparing to unleash its fury, reminding all who ventured here that nature, for all its beauty, is never truly tamed. Disaster struck without warning. A deep, ominous crack split the silence as the snowpack fractured beneath the skiers. In an instant, the tranquility of the alpine morning was shattered. The skiers, who had been laughing and carving fresh tracks only moments before, froze in terror as the ground beneath them began to move. The mountain, so beautiful and serene, suddenly revealed its hidden danger. A massive slab of snow broke free, transforming the peaceful slope into a roaring avalanche. The sound was thunderous, echoing off the surrounding peaks as tons of snow thundered down the mountainside. The force unleashed was unimaginable, a wall of white fury accelerating with every passing second, swallowing everything in its path. The skiers were swept away, engulfed by a torrent of snow and ice. They tumbled helplessly, tossed like rag dolls, unable to fight the overwhelming power of the avalanche. In those terrifying moments, all sense of direction vanished, replaced by panic and the desperate hope for survival. Within seconds, the world became a blur of white and deafening noise. The avalanche roared around them, blocking out all other sounds, as snow and ice battered their bodies and filled every gap. It was impossible to tell up from down or even to breathe. The avalanche's force was unstoppable, burying 5 of the 7 skiers beneath tons of snow. In the aftermath, the slope was eerily silent, the chaos replaced by a heavy, suffocating stillness. Only scattered equipment and faint cries for help hinted at the tragedy hidden beneath the surface. The beautiful powder became a suffocating prison, cutting off air and hope. Trapped beneath the snow, every breath was a struggle, and every second felt like an eternity. The cold pressed in from all sides, and the weight of the snow made even the smallest movement impossible. For those trapped, survival depended on a swift rescue. The clock was ticking, and the chances of survival dropped with every passing minute. Above ground, the urgency was palpable as rescuers raced to reach the buried skiers before it was too late. The 2 remaining skiers, shaken but alive, faced the overwhelming responsibility to save their friends. Time was running out. Their hands shook as they dug frantically, calling out names, hoping for any sign of life beneath the snow. The weight of the moment pressed down on them, but they refused to give up. The mountain, once inviting, had turned deadly in an instant. The serene beauty of the Alps was now a stark reminder of nature's unpredictable power, and the line between adventure and disaster had been crossed in the blink of an eye. The race to save lives had begun. Every second mattered as rescuers and survivors alike battled the elements, determined to bring their friends back from the clutches of the mountain's fury. Amid the chaos, one survivor managed to call for help, relaying the grim news to local authorities. The emergency response was immediate. Every second counted. Helicopters and rescue teams mobilized, racing toward Piz Badus. On board were mountain guides, paramedics, and avalanche rescue dogs, all trained for moments like this. From the air, the avalanche's devastation was clear, a vast, chaotic scar on the mountainside. Rescuers landed directly on the debris field, equipped with probes, shovels, and transceivers. The search began, urgency driving every movement. The clock was ticking, and hope depended on speed and precision. The mountain's silence was now filled with the sounds of rescue. On the avalanche debris, rescuers worked with relentless urgency. Every movement was calculated, every second precious. The biting cold and swirling wind did nothing to slow their determination. They knew that beneath the vast white expanse, lives hung in the balance. The clock was ticking, and the margin for survival was shrinking with every passing moment. Transceivers guided them to signals beneath the snow, while rescue dogs searched for any sign of life. The beeping of the devices was a lifeline, a faint hope in the silence of the mountains. The dogs, trained for moments like this, moved swiftly, their noses pressed to the snow, alert for the faintest trace of human scent. Each bark or sudden movement sent a surge of adrenaline through the team. When a dog began to dig, hope surged. Teams rushed in with probes and shovels. The rescuers formed a line, passing tools and encouragement, their breath visible in the frigid air. They worked in unison, driven by the possibility that someone was still alive just beneath their feet. The snow was dense and heavy, making every second of digging a battle. The avalanche had compacted the snow into a near-solid mass, and shovels struggled to break through. Hands grew numb, muscles ached, but no one paused. The rescuers knew that even a minute's delay could mean the difference between life and death. 4 skiers were found alive, quickly treated, and airlifted to safety. Medics worked rapidly, checking for hypothermia and injuries, wrapping survivors in blankets as the helicopter blades thundered overhead. Relief washed over the team, but the search was not over. Tragically, one skier was found lifeless, buried too deep for rescue to arrive in time. The realization hit hard. Despite all their efforts, nature had claimed another victim. The team paused, honoring the lost life with a moment of silence, their faces etched with sorrow. The mood shifted from hope to heartbreak. The weight of loss was heavy, and the mountain air seemed colder, harsher. Even the most seasoned rescuers felt the sting of defeat, knowing they had done everything possible. The mountain had claimed a life, despite the best efforts of all involved. The silence that followed was profound, broken only by the distant hum of the helicopter and the soft crunch of boots in the snow. The rescue was a testament to skill and speed, but also a sobering reminder of nature's power. The team's coordination and training had saved lives, but the mountain's unpredictability was a force beyond control. For the survivors, the day's joy had turned to trauma and loss. The thrill of adventure was replaced by shock and grief as they clung to each other for comfort, forever changed by what they had endured. The mountain's lesson was harsh and unforgettable. Its beauty was matched only by its danger, a reminder that respect and caution are always required in such wild places. The cost of adventure had become painfully clear. For those who survived, the memory of this day would linger, a stark warning of the risks that come with chasing the thrill of the mountains. Avalanches, known as the White Death, are simple yet deadly acts of nature. They occur when a layer of snow loses its grip and slides downhill, often triggered by a single skier. Slab avalanches are the most dangerous, caused by a strong layer resting on a weak one. Weather, wind, and temperature shifts create unstable snowpacks, setting the stage for disaster. A skier's weight can trigger a collapse, unleashing tons of snow in seconds. Avalanches accelerate rapidly, reaching over 130 km/h, and carry immense destructive force. The air blast alone can knock down trees and people before the snow even arrives. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for anyone venturing into avalanche terrain. Respect for the mountain's power is the first step toward safety. The Alps are a winter playground, but their beauty hides real danger. Backcountry skiers face constant risk. Steep slopes and deep powder are prime avalanche zones. The initial trauma from an avalanche can be severe, with injuries from rocks, trees, and the violent motion. If buried, asphyxiation is the greatest threat. Air runs out quickly under compacted snow. Survival depends on rapid rescue. 90% survive if found within 15 minutes, but chances plummet after that. Proper equipment and training are essential. The margin for error is razor thin. The mountains demand respect, preparation, and constant vigilance. A beautiful day can turn deadly in moments. The line between adventure and tragedy is thin. In avalanche country, every decision matters. Safe travel in the mountains starts with education and respect. Always check the avalanche forecast before heading out. It's your first line of defense. Use the forecast to guide your route and decisions. Avoid risky slopes when danger is high. Watch for signs of instability. Recent avalanches, cracking snow, or ominous sounds. Good judgment and discipline save lives. The mountain will always be there another day. Take avalanche safety courses and practice rescue skills regularly. In the end, your brain is your best safety tool. Judgment is vital, but the right equipment is your lifeline in avalanche terrain. Every skier must carry a transceiver, probe, and shovel, and know how to use them under stress. Transceivers help locate buried victims, probes pinpoint their position, and shovels dig them out. Practice is essential. Equipment alone isn't enough. Avalanche shovels are designed for dense, compacted snow. Speed and technique matter. Companion rescue is the fastest hope for survival. Don't venture out without this toolkit, and ensure your group is equally prepared. In the mountains, preparation is everything. The tragedy on Piz Badus is a stark reminder of the mountain's dual nature, beauty and danger intertwined. Respect for the peaks means learning, preparing, and carrying the right gear every time. Plan carefully, study forecasts, and be ready to change plans or turn back. The summit is optional, returning home is not. Every loss echoes through families, friends, and rescuers. Let each story of tragedy inspire greater caution and responsibility. Honor the mountains by prioritizing safety and respect. Make a solemn vow, adventure with knowledge, humility, and care, for yourself and all who follow.